What we do here is go back.
I'm not a writer.
Okay.
To give you more of an understanding of the slideshow of the pictures that you saw, so I kind of wanted to just show you all the evolution of natural hair through different generations. So I used, myself and my family. So I wanted it to be very personal, and I was very intentional about the pictures that I used. And more specifically, the pictures about me, they kind of show my, I guess you can say, transformation from the kind of first stages of me going natural to me currently being natural today in 2018. Since I went natural October 2013, which is almost 5 years. Well, not exactly, but it'll be 5 years soon. So to be even more clear, the picture I included of my grandmother and my mother, they were not natural, but I'm showing the evolution from them because they eventually did go natural, from non-natural hair to natural hair seen in other generations, such as my sister and I. And you'll also see the reflection of natural hair in my brother, and the other pictures include my grandmother Joyce and my great-grandmother Williametta. Hey, thanks for checking out Slaynuh, the podcast created to be your peace among the pandemonium. How are you beautiful, handsome, amazing, wonderful people doing? I hope you're doing wonderful. I hope your week thus far has been everything that you've hoped for and even more. As always, tell me one bruise and one band-aid. One bruise for me would be I'm kind of in a rough mental place right now for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure, but I'm working through it. One band-aid would be that I was able to be with my family for Saturday and some of Sunday. It was really, really just therapeutic. I have two uncles, as I mentioned before, my mom's brothers specifically. I haven't seen them since 2015. They're from Connecticut, and I was able to see one of them this weekend, and that was just really the highlight of my month. Probably one of the main highlights of my year thus far. So that is my band-aid. Please again share one bruise and one band-aid of yours with me. This is a subject I could spend hours talking about, but I'm going to keep it simplified as best as possible. I always knew natural hair was beautiful. I always knew that it should be embraced. I always loved it. I always wanted a lion's mane, but I really never knew how to get one. And it's so interesting to me now that I look back and I'm like, you had the lion's mane. All you had to do is leave it alone. Like, if we just let our hair do what it wants, and I'm not saying, just let it do whatever it wants, have a little, pay some attention to your hair. But if you just let it do, let it do its thing, it's going to be fine. And that's the look that I really loved. And if I had known that sooner, I would have went natural sooner. But you live and you learn. So I went natural October 2013. So that's, if you want to get technical, almost 5 years ago. And my mom, she is 1 year ahead of me. So she went natural in January, so she is natural as of January, 6 years natural. And she kind of paved the way for me because I just it's just like anything, getting it started is always the hardest. So seeing her, be immersed in natural hair videos, trying different things on her hair, it really made me see that I too, could resume the journey that was put to a halt when I was 9 years old, because that's when I got my first relaxer, when I was 9 years old. And people use the term perm and relaxer interchangeably, but a perm curls your hair and a relaxer straightens it. I've never had a perm, but I did get relaxers when I was 9 years old. And as I said, 2013, I went natural. For a class that I took in my sophomore year, which was Intro to Creative Writing, we had to create a nonfiction piece that was creative. So there were a bunch of assignments we had to do, but one in particular was creative nonfiction. And I chose to write about my natural hair journey because it was very liberating, very freeing, and it just really made me more of I don't even know the word for it. It's just made me a better person. Like, it made me a better version of myself. And it may sound silly to some people. People are like, oh, it's just hair. Yeah, it's just hair, but it really shaped me positively. So the piece is originally 4 pages long, but I'm going to, of course, just read certain parts of it that I want to read for you guys. I'm not trying to sound conceited or anything. I love the entire piece. Like, every time I read it, I'm just brought back to that same moment when I wrote it and when I actually was going through it. So I hope you guys enjoy just, a little look into what I wrote. I always told my mom that I wanted my own line mane. My mom is the type of mom who will do anything to keep her kids happy, but at that point in time, she did not know what to do to help me achieve that goal. Once every month, my mom and I would set up shop in our Connecticut kitchen to begin the painful, yet what seemed like necessary process. Don't scratch, I remember her telling me. If I were to dig at my dirty roots, the relaxer would burn and leave scaly bumps. I hated my face being practically pressed against the sink because I felt claustrophobic. So I would talk to my mom about everything under the sun as water hit my mouth to distract myself. Soon enough, I grew taller than my mom, and my hair reached well beyond the bottom of the sink. So she began taking me to Alba's, the only Dominican hair salon that I would ever go to. Spanish music played in the background as Alba, or occasionally one of her employees, made my hair look like theirs. It was as if I had been teleported back to 1964 and Malcolm X's friend, Shorty, was conking my hair in his apartment. Alba would always tell me to wait just a little bit longer as the relaxer burned my scalp. Her words nearly mirrored Shorty's. The longer you can stand it, the straighter the hair. He also told Malcolm X, the first time is always worst. You get used to it better before long. I cannot help but to beg to differ with him. Every time was the worst. So prior to me adding in the, Malcolm X conk piece, I don't think I've ever heard of that piece because it's based there's quotes from that I took out, like, the longer you can stand it, the straighter the hair, and the first time's always the worst. You get used to it better before long. Those are direct quotes from the piece that Malcolm X wrote about, the hair experience. And my professor for that class is actually the one who told me, I might be interested in reading that, and it was like a wealth of knowledge. So it was just so interesting seeing the comparisons between me writing that in 2016, me going through that prior to 2016, and how happened with Malcolm X and Shorty in 1964. So that was just really, really interesting to me. So when I first went natural, I transitioned for over 1 year. Not, too long after 1 year, but for a year or so. And I honestly didn't think that I would last as being a natural because I just, again, so disconnected from my natural hair. I didn't really know how to love it. So I was like, oh my gosh, my hair is just 2 different textures. It's growing out. It looks ugly. I can't do anything with it. So I would, of course, take care of my hair underneath. But I want to say for a solid year, I wear my hair in protective styles. And that actually was probably the best thing that I could do, because when you don't touch your hair, when you just take care of it and, don't, bother it too much, it really grows. So I too had to find, what worked for me. So I had to do what my mom was doing. I had to research. I had to watch, I don't even know how many videos I watched. Like, it got to the point where, when you watch like the first page of YouTube videos and then you go to the second and the third, like, I literally had to like start getting creative with the titles of videos that I watched, because I had watched all, like, not all on YouTube obviously, but so many. I was like, oh, I already watched this one, so let me go find something else. So during that process, I really found what I liked for my hair, what I loved, what I didn't particularly like for my hair. So I really grew a sense of appreciation and patience for my hair while I was finding myself through my hair, if that makes sense. I can honestly say that the feedback that I've, in the past and even today that I received about my natural hair is positive feedback. Like, I can't remember anyone, ever coming up to me and saying, oh, your hair's ugly, or you should do something with that, or, anything negative like that. And of course I would have like, first of all, this is my hair, I like it, I'm going to do what I want with it. And then, I would have to school them on how it's not ugly. And, I just have to go into lecture mode. But I really can't think of anything but positive feedback. And often I wear my hair in protective styles just because I'm very busy and I don't always want to wake up 10, 15, not even 10 or 15, like 20 minutes earlier to get up and do my hair, or feel like twisting or, braiding or flat twisting it up at night or whatever. And I like to experiment with different colors and, lengths of hair. And, I've never dyed or even colored my real hair. So with, fake hair, I get to, use my creativity and express it mostly in braids. So that's why I keep my hair in protective styles. And like I said before, the less you manipulate your hair, the better it is. So that's why I keep my hair primarily in protective styles. But I notice that when I don't wear protective styles, people tell me I should wear my natural hair out more. They like it. And like, I appreciate the comments, but at the same time, like, it's my hair. Like, I do what I want with it. And if you're not going to like braid my hair or twist it up for me every night, yeah, you're not going to see it every single day, all the time. On the flip side, my dad is natural. He has dreads. He receives very negative perceptions about him sometimes. Like, it might not always be upfront, but what a lot of people, they first jump to the assumption that he is a gang member, that he is specifically a Jamaican gang member or a Jamaican drug dealer. Like, they automatically just assume that because of his hair, because he's kind of like a male version of me. Like, he's skinny, he's like, but he has muscles. Like, I don't, but he, is kind of like similar in shape to me. He has dreads, like I said, and he dresses very nice. And like, you guys, I'm really not trying to brag, but like, if you see me, like, you don't have to have money to dress nice, because half of the stuff I wear is not even all name brand. He's the same way. Like, I thrift because of him. It's something we bond, over. But I say all of that to say that people look at him, they look at his hair, and they just automatically assume that he sells drugs or something. And I don't like get it. Like, I understand that, when people are making movies and books and different things, you need to have that, well, not need to have, but you have that character with, telltale characteristics so that they're, easily recognizable. But you can't boat people all together, especially people in real life. So I just really hate that sometimes when people see him, they automatically think something negative like that, when that's not him. That could be, that's the furthest thing from him. He's a hardworking, honest man, the best builder I know. Like, literally, if you need a tin roof or a metal roof built, he can do that. If you need, a sink to be fixed, if you need something in your house to be installed, like, he's literally the person to go to. Like, he will use math, and he will get the wood and do all the measurements and all the stuff that I can't do, and, like, just envision things that can be made and built, and it's just amazing to me. So never think that people are going to be stereotypes. Don't feed into that. A topic that is really, really interesting and needs to be talked about more across different facets, across different, areas of life, is natural hair in the work setting or any professional setting. And it shouldn't be an issue, whether that be, a natural afro, or you're wearing your Bantu knots, or you have dreads, or, you have a shaved head, whatever. It should not be an issue. It should not be a barrier. It's no secret that there are people who don't like natural hair. Some people still see it as ugly. Some people still say it's naughty, it's nappy. It's just a bush on your head that you can't do anything with. And there's no way we can deny the fact that there are people, a lot of African Americans, who are rejected because of their hair. They won't get a job because the first thing that people, think when they see natural hair, whether that be an afro or dreads, they seem to think it's something like just bad, like, oh, that person's trouble. And I'm like, this just needs to be eradicated. It's become a problem, and that it's sad when we have people who say they go into an interview with their hair straightened, or they have it in some type of protective style that is very close to some type of straight or wavy look, just so that they can secure the position. But then, once they actually start working, they, go to work with their wash and go, or they wear their braids, or they wear their afro. And we shouldn't have to put on a different mask just because we're trying to get a job. And that doesn't matter whether you're trying to get a job in the judicial system, whether you're trying to get a job at McDonald's, at a retail store, as a teacher, as a doctor, as a janitor, as anything. It shouldn't be an issue what your hair looks like. Number one, we can't help the hair that grows from our head. Sure, we can chemically straighten it, we can chemically curl it, whatever. But at the end of the day, what grows from our roots is who we are. And why should we be forced to try to tame it rather than embracing it and loving it? I'm really indifferent for people who say that they don't like their natural hair. And I'm not one of those naturals that's like, oh my gosh, if you were relaxed, you don't love yourself. I'm not saying that. I personally am happy with what I have been given. I'm happy with my hair, as I talked about in my last podcast. I'm happy with my body. I'm happy with my skin. I'm just happy with what I was given. And I get wary when people aren't. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying people who, straighten their hair or curl it or get, plastic surgery, whatever, they don't love themselves. But I just can't help but think that there's some sort of insecurity that they are trying to get rid of, something that they're trying to, turn into something they like, enhance it. But for me, I just love my natural hair. I love embracing it. Even when the rain falls, like, I honestly will try to keep it, like, wrapped up, just because, like, guys, dealing with 4C hair once it's, been affected by humidity or rain is a monster. But I love my hair. And there will be days when I get caught in the rain, and if I don't have an umbrella, oh well, my hair is going to shrink. I mean, today, my hair right now, it shrank because it rained this morning, and, it was, I guess, humid or whatever you would say. It's out, it's humid outside, so my hair shrunk down a little bit, and it's a little puff, but it's my hair, and I love it. And it's really, really, really interesting, because if people of other backgrounds can wear their natural hair, whatever that may look like, why can't we, whether that be, African Americans, Hispanic people with, curly hair, people who are Latin, like, why can't we embrace our natural? Why can't we wear that proudly? I will be sharing with you guys right now my go-to natural hair products, and I will also be including pictures and, quick little reviews. Keep in mind that my hair is mostly 4C. Well, my entire head is 4C, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, certain pieces, they seem like maybe they're, like, not as kinky as other pieces, but my hair is 4C, so certain products that work for me may not work for you. You might have 4A hair. You might have 4B hair like my sister, or you might have 4C hair like my mom and I. I think some people, say 4D and I can go on, but I personally, just recognize and see 4A, 4B, 4C, and then there's other curly grays of hair that I don't know what the letters would be, but I recognize A through C, because those are the ones that, that my eyes are like, okay, that's 4A, that's 4B, that's 4C. And it's not to classify people. I don't think any curl pattern is prettier or better than the other. It just simply means certain products are going to work for certain curl patterns, and other ones just, they won't work for you. You have to try something new. So I'm going to give you quick little reviews on my go-to products, because I really don't use a whole lot. I personally don't think you need to have, like, whatever they call a closet or shelf full of, products. You just get a couple that your hair really loves and stick to them. So I listed the products from my most favorite to my least favorite, and that doesn't mean like the other ones I use I don't like, but for obvious reasons I like certain products more than others. Number one is a leave-in conditioner, but like, oh my gosh, I love it. Kinky Curly Not Today. And my mom put me onto this. I'm pretty sure she found this, in her search for hair products that she really liked when she first went natural, and she found really good reviews about Kinky Curly Not Today leave-in conditioner, and oh my gosh, that's my holy grail. Like, I love it. Once I wash, condition my hair, all that good stuff, I apply the leave-in conditioner, and it leaves my hair feeling so smooth, so soft, so bouncy, and it really hydrates my hair. So that is my number one favorite natural hair product. What I will say about all natural products, for the most part, a little goes a long way. So I'm not one of those naturals who, scoops out an entire glob and is like, oh, like, I'm very minimal about what I use. So, like, I don't use a whole lot. I use enough to, hydrate my hair and to do what I want it to do. I'm gonna butcher this name, but Talia Wajid Curly Curl Cream. This is a product that I used to watch this girl on YouTube. What's her name? Naturally Tosh, I think her name was. And she used to, I don't know if she still does, but this was a couple of years ago, she would, I'm air quoting, color her hair with cream eyeshadows and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. So I used to do that, when I was in high school. It was my senior year. Like, if I wanted a little color in the front, I would add a little green eyeshadow or something, because, I don't like to color my real hair. But she talked of the Talia, or Talia, however you want to say it, that brand. I'm not quite sure which product she used, but I remember first hearing that name years ago when I was watching her videos. And then my friend Jalen, she used this product, I believe, for herself, and I think she liked it. And so, like, the way I try to use products is I like to hear what other people with hair patterns similar to me, like, what they think, because I'm not saying I don't care about what 4A has to say, but, like, if you have 4A hair, what works for you is probably not going to work for me with 4C hair. So I try to get reviews from people with hair like mine, and then I base my opinions on a product based on how my hair personally reacts to it. I know Shea Moisture they basically, with the Black community, they had a big fallout because of problematic things that they did. But I have a, I guess it's a container of the Curl Enhancing Smoothie, and it's like nearly still full, because when I first went natural, I tried the product, and for some reason I didn't like it. I didn't like what it did for or to my hair. But now, like, my hair loves it. Like, it gives it a really nice curl, especially when I twist my hair. Especially when I braid my hair. So that's a product that I really like. Also, blueberry and coconut hair milk by Curls. It smells so good. Like, it smells like blueberry and coconuts. And I've seen this product before multiple times. I actually see it on Instagram and I think Twitter a lot, just because, like, the ads for it. But then Najee, she actually would post about it sometimes, and her hair is just so beautiful. And like, when I see something, it kind of plants a seed in my mind, so I'm like, maybe I'll try it. So recently I tried this product. My hair really likes it. It gives it like probably the best curl of any product I've ever used. It's probably right next to Kinky Curly Knot Today with the sense of the curl that it gives. But I don't know if it's just me or if it's the products, like if it's designed to do so, but my hair kind of felt dense when I used it, especially the first time. Like, even when I tried to pick at my roots to, like, lift my hair up and make it a little more, because my hair is naturally bushy, really thick and big, but it made it feel dense. And I like my hair to be really thick, and I like it to feel like that, what's the word? I guess the chunky cotton candy type look to it. So when I do use the blueberry product now, I actually just use a little bit of it because I don't want my hair to be very dense. And I also swear by Jamaican black castor oil, and the one that I have is mixed with a little bit of coconut oil. And if you massage that into your scalp for 10 minutes, 5 days a week, it literally will make your hair thick. Like, I don't know if there's science behind this, but it worked for me. Last year, I did that faithfully, and my hair got so thick. And it's because your hair is stimulating. It's like, when you're massaging, it stimulates. So that really helped my hair become very thick, and it was very, like, it's just very relaxing to have a hair massage. So I recommend that product as well. In Africa, the 100% African shea butter, that's only at the bottom of my list because it leaves my hair smelling very weird. I don't like the smell. And if you apply it like too often, like if you kind of use it every other day or so for your hair to, like, style your hair will become very, not dirty, but like, the more and more product you put into your hair, the buildup is going to be greater. And you're not going to get the curl or the whatever you want your hair to look like, because it's basically being weighed down. So that's the only thing about the African shea butter. But I really do love, it makes my hair feel soft. And it also gives it, a nice bounce. And it makes it feel soft and fluffy too. But again, the smell, and if you use too much of it, it weighs your hair down. I don't delve too much into shampoos and conditioners because I'm a cheap person. And I don't mean like I use poor quality things, but like I just don't see why you need to spend $20-$30 for a conditioner, for a shampoo or whatever. So I would use the VO5 brand. It's right at your dollar stores. Like, it's at Family Dollar, I know. Family Dollar and Dollar Tree. They're only $1. But I'm pretty sure they have, what's that product? It's an ingredient, It's an ingredient that I don't think is good for your hair. But the thing is, with shampoo, you should only use a little bit of it. And especially for natural hair, conditioner is going to be what you really want to use a lot of. But I used that one like up until very recently. That's the one I really used because it was, like I said, I think it was like $1, and it's shampoo and conditioner. But I recently tried another conditioner. I used the OGX coconut milk conditioner. That's about $6 or $7. I got that at Target, and while I will say it leaves my hair feeling very soft, and like while I was combing through it, like, while I was washing it, it made it a lot easier. But again, it did make my hair sort of feel dense, and like it just didn't feel the way I wanted it to. Like, I'm not saying I want my hair to be rough, but I feel like certain products are low-key conditioning our hair to like do certain things. Like, and people are probably like, duh, that's what condition means. But, like, I don't know. Like, I'll probably use the rest of the bottle because I bought it and I don't want to waste it. And it does make my hair feel soft. But I really don't know if it's the product for me. Like, I kind of feel the same way I feel about the blueberry, product by Curls that I do about the OGX conditioner. And let's be clear that before I wash my hair, I use conditioner and oil, any type of oil really. But I usually use, an olive oil for hair. You have to mix those two together, apply it to your hair, and then comb through your hair, because if you don't, your hair will not be able to be managed before you wash it. And you're going to have to cut your hair off. So that's a trick my mom taught me. Conditioner and oil, mix them and apply that to your hair before you try to comb through it or anything after you take out, braids or twist or whatever. It'll make your life so much easier. In addition to doing that, the OGX conditioner made my hair basically flawless while I was trying to detangle it and while I was washing it. But again, in light of what you might hear from people, what you might even think, to yourself, your natural hair is beautiful, and it's not the issue, regardless of your curl pattern. It's an issue of people with archaic and regressive mindsets. They are the people who have the issue. Your hair is not the issue. And I even included this in my creative nonfiction writing. And the piece, I never said the name of it, it's called Just Not For Me. And if you are if you are aware of the brand of a relaxer, I'm sure a lot of you natural girls who once were relaxed, or maybe even girls who've been natural their whole life, you might have just heard of it. It's called Just For Me, the product. That's an actual relaxer, but I took a spin off of that and said it's just not for me. So back into the piece. Right before I turned 16, a too strong relaxer caused my hair to thin out and slightly break off. That was when I realized that my roots always grew back plush for a reason non-scientific. God was giving me a chance to finally explore my bush of hair. My great-grandmother was told that hers was nothing but knots, which in turn, she told my grandmother. My grandmother set a flame to my mother's bush with a hot comb, and my mother relaxed mine. Self-degradation, as Malcolm X calls it, has not changed much over the years. The process is just easier now. The potato and egg concoctions have been swapped out for boxes of creamy crack that are already prepared, available at any local beauty supply shop or grocery store. For so long, my people and I have been brainwashed. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. But this is where it would stop. My mother was now constantly wrapped up in hair tutorials on YouTube, coming up on her 1 year as a natural anniversary. I took the opportunity to resume the journey, which was put to a halt when I was 9 years old. I turned to her and said, I want to go natural too. This meant that I would no longer put chemicals like calcium hydroxide in my hair to straighten it. Maybe if my family had seen advertisements with afros of all sizes and not just the ones from Feed the Children commercials, or had been told that their hair as it grew from the roots was beautiful, I would not be writing this piece in 2016. But in a way, I am glad that I am. I now know how beautiful my kinks are. It is not only my story, but the story of the 52-year-old woman who was finally seen sporting her puff, regardless of who does or does not compliment it. This is the story of the 12-year-old girl who has never received a relaxer and corrects older people when they say, you need to do something with that hair. Her hair is not the problem. Their regressive and archaic mindsets are. To this day, I sometimes panic when I scratch at my roots, forgetting that it is okay to do so. So with my piece, I kind of wanted to show the evolution of natural hair, from the brainwashed notions that natural hair is ugly and how that is passed down from generation to generation. Or maybe if it's not even ugly, it's just not, tameable. You can't manage it. So just, burn it, just straighten it. whatever, just relax it, to the evolution of, this is my hair. All I need to do is take a little more time with it, find out what it loves, and become one with my hair, and don't fight against it. Work with my hair. And I don't ever think I consider myself to be someone who really always loved history, but the more and more that I read, I just get so in love with history, and even in ways people think aren't connected. Like when people think about hair, I'm sure sometimes people aren't like, well, let me look at, a history timeline of hair, but I do. So this is a very brief one, a very, broad one I'm going to give you from thirstyroots.com, and it is a natural hair timeline, discovering our roots. Do I hate my hair? 1444. Quote, Europeans trade on the west coast of Africa with people wearing elaborate hairstyles, including locks, plaits, or is that plaits? I think it's plaits, and twists. 1619. Quote, first slaves brought to Jamestown. African language, culture, and grooming tradition begin to disappear. 1700s. Quote, calling black hair wool. Many whites dehumanize slaves. The more elaborate African styles cannot be retained. 1800s. Quote, without the combs and herbal treatments used in Africa, slaves rely on bacon grease, butter, and kerosene as hair conditioners and cleaners. Lighter-skinned, straight-haired slaves command higher prices at auction than darker, more kinky-haired ones. Internalizing color consciousness, blacks promote the idea that blacks with dark skin and kinky hair are less attractive and worthless. 1865. Quote, slavery ends, but whites look upon black women who style their hair like white women as well adjusted. Good hair becomes a prerequisite for entering certain schools, churches, social groups, and business networks. 1880, quote, metal hot combs, invented in 1845 by the French, are readily available in the United States. The comb is heated and used to press and temporarily straighten kinky hair. 1900s, quote, Madam C.J. Walker develops a range of hair care products for black hair. She popularizes the press and curl style. Some criticize her for encouraging black women to look white. 1910, quote, Walker is featured in the Guinness Book of Records as the first American female self-made millionaire. 1920s, quote, Marcus Garvey, a black nationalist, urges followers to embrace their natural hair and reclaim an African aesthetic. 1954, quote, George E. Johnson launches the Johnson Products Company with ultra-wave hair culture, a permanent hair straightener for men that can be applied at home. A women's chemical straightener follows. 1963, quote, actress Cicely Tyson wears cornrows on the television drama East Side, West Side. 1966, quote, model Pat Evans defies both black and white standards of beauty and shaves her head. 1968, quote, actress Diane Carroll is the first black woman to star in a television network series, Julia. She is a darker version of the all-American girl with straightened, curled hair. 1970, quote, Angela Davis becomes an icon of black power with her large afro. 1971, quote, Melba Tolliver is fired from the ABC affiliate in New York for wearing an afro while covering Trisha Nixon's wedding. 1977, quote, the Jerry curl explodes on the black hair scene. Billed as a curly perm for blacks, the ultra-moist hairstyle lasts through the 1980s. 1979, quote, braids and beads cross the color line when Bo Derek appears with cornrows in the movie 10. 1980, quote, model actress Grace Jones sports her trademark flat-top fade. 1988, quote, Spike Lee exposes the good hair, bad hair, light skin, dark skin schism in Black America in his movie School Days. 1990, quote, sisters love the weave, Essence magazine declares. A variety of natural styles and locks also become more accepted. 1997, singer Erykah Badu poses on the cover of her debut album, Baduism, with her head wrapped. ushering in an eclectic brand of Afrocentrism. 1998, Carson Inc., creator of Dark and Lovely and Magic Shade for Black Men, acquires Black-owned beauty company Johnson Products of Chicago in 1998. L'Oreal purchases Carson 2 years later and merges it with Soft Sheen. 1999, quote, People magazine names top Grammy Award-winning artist Lauryn Hill one of its 50 most beautiful people. 2001, rapper Lil' Kim wears a platinum blonde weave while singer Macy Gray sports a new school afro. Some black women perm, some press. Others go with natural twists, braids, and locks. 2006, black hair care is a billion-dollar industry. The page stops there at 2006, but I think it's very important to note that there has, a lot has transpired since then in 2018. So something worth noting is that there are products that are not for natural hair, but they are pushed in a way that, it seems like they are. So they're described in ways that natural hair products are described, but they're actually for people with relaxed hair. And it's just, another way for people to give their money to non-natural products. That is not even, it doesn't matter if you're not a natural and you're selling it, but it's not even for our hair. So why would we buy it? And also, certain products, prices spiking because so many people are buying them. And it's not just because, I realize that the higher the demand for something, the higher the price is going to become. But people, intentionally spiking up prices and promoting things as being natural so that they can, be sold. Now I'm going to share some tips for naturals. Number 1, patience is a virtue. Have it not only with yourself, but your hair. So realize that everything is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to be a one-day thing. It's not going to be a 2-day thing, a week thing, anything like that. It's going to take time. So have patience with yourself. And if you look in the mirror every single day like, oh my gosh, it's not growing, of course it's not. And take a lot of pictures and videos because you'll really be able to see the progress when you have tangible evidence. Do research about your hair and learn what works best for it. So my natural girls with curly hair, 4A, 4B, 4C, and like I said before, I guess 4D, people, identify that. Go out there and look online. There are different hair charts. There are different products that are geared for certain types of hair that are certain curls. So see what works best for you and your hair. Find products that work for you, and they don't have to be super expensive. So like I've said, I don't spend a whole lot of money on products for hair. And you don't have to either. You don't have to spend $100 on natural hair stuff for your hair to look quote unquote good or nice or be healthy. As long as it's healthy, you're good. Use heat as little as possible, if at all. There's a really, really nice chart somewhere. I'm going to try to find it and, send a link for you guys. But if I can't, it's basically showing you what you should do for your natural hair. So you should do protective styles. I think it said 6 months, like not, all at once, but 6 months out of the year, you should do protective styles. And you should only use heat twice a year. So preferably, follow a 12-month mark. So maybe, you do your hair once within the 6 months, the first 6 months of the year, you straighten it or curl it once. And then the second half of the 12 months of the year, you straighten it or curl or whatever. I personally don't ever use heat unless I feel the need to, and that's really hardly ever. I think since me being natural, I've used heat maybe 3 or 4 times, and that's only because I needed to have my hair dried to do a protective style because I was going to bed or something like that. But I've never, since going natural, I haven't straightened it or blow dried it to wear it out or anything. Protective styles are key. So whether that be you get braids or you get twists or you wear weave, as long as you're taking care of your hair beneath the protective style and you're not leaving that protective style in for too long, they are very, very, very important. For me, that's probably my number 1 tip, to wear protective styles, because the less, the less manipulation, the better for your hair. Really, we still have a lot to learn. We still have a lot to figure out, and it's never too late to figure stuff out about your own hair. So keep in mind that things that might have worked for your hair when you first went natural might not anymore, because the longer that your hair gets, your curl pattern may begin to change and like reveal itself the longer that it gets and things of that nature. A tip that I will give is that it's okay to change your hair. If anyone knows me, they know one of my top 5 favorite naturals is, she goes by Nia the Light and Fro Girl Jenny, and her hair is so pretty. And I'm saying is because if you did not know it, drum roll, she cut her hair. Oh my gosh, she looks impeccable either way. But like, she just talked about how liberating cutting her hair was for her. I've been following her for a while, and she said that when she was in her 50s or 60s, she was going to cut her hair. But you know, she's I think she's 20 now. It came sooner because she felt like now was the time to do it. If not now, when? So if you feel led to cut your hair or to grow something out, go ahead and go for it. It doesn't matter if other people are going to be receptive to it or not. It's your hair. It's your happiness. Do what you want with it. And I've talked to her, you know, personally, and she's such a sweet person, and she's just a light of radiance and everything good. So big ups to Nia for taking that very scary but necessary step. If you haven't figured it out by now, I am pro natural hair. I love it. I mean, like, just whatever you want to do with it, it is yours. It's natural. Like, it's naturally beautiful. It is just so amazing, wonderful. It is so versatile. People want it. They don't want to admit it, but they want the hair. Sorry, it's mine. I don't ever see myself cutting my hair. I want it to be so big. I'm going to get that lion's mane even bigger that I've always talked about. But whatever you want to do with yours, I'm here for it. I love you. I love natural hair. So I'm going to close out with a quote, and this quote is going to be mine. It's going to come from the same piece of writing I've been reading from this entire time. Well, not the entire time, but you know, when I've been reading, it's been from that piece. So here you go. For so long, my people and I have been brainwashed. We have been told that slick back styles that stuck to the scalp were designed for our heads, from which hair grows like bushes. Bushes that bugs often mistake for trees and land in. If they can make homes out of our hair, why can't we? I can't wait to one day have children of my own, you know. Hopefully God blesses me with both girls and boys. I can't wait to just love them and tell them how beautiful they are, how handsome they are, how wonderful their hair is, style it for them. You know, just tell them that no matter what anyone says or what anyone else thinks, what matters is how you feel on the inside and what you think you look like. I just can't wait to love. That's all that I've got for you today. Go out and get in your go yard. Stay low, stay solid.